Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I was watching Wendell from Level 1 Techs, and he made a video about the 6600 XT, which I just so happen to also have. And, I did have a little bit of trouble getting it to work, but I thought it was kind of funny that he was, making it. He said he wanted to make it a little bit simpler, so I didn't understand why he was going like this roundabout way of explaining Git and also saying that you should, add a patch and all those other kind of things. You don't have to do any of that. Okay, one of the cool things about Ubuntu, I guess you could call it cool things. One of the things about Ubuntu is it actually already has a bunch of kernels that they put inside of a repository that you can have access to. All you need to do is have a program that can download it because it's not in your repositories. You're not going to be able to apt install this. But you can use a program called Mainline. Now, this program called Mainline is a fork from UUKK or something like that. And anyway, you're probably familiar with this. You just open it up, it refreshes its own lists of kernels, and then we'll download the kernel. So you can follow what Wendell said about the no mode set up to that point until you get into a graphical interface, and then once you get into a graphical interface, just install the brand new kernel. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Most likely, it's going to all work just fine, especially if you have the AMD drivers. Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm on Windows right now because I have some work stuff I had to do, but normally on my box that I had, I did it on two different systems. I just installed like 5.13, I think it was. So you just install the newest one. If it doesn't work, go down a little bit, install a couple versions below that or something like that, and normally one of them will work. And if it doesn't work, you can easily uninstall it. You can go to Grub, you can change which kernel you want to boot into and do the safe mode trick again. It's not going to be the end of the world if that happens. So by far, this is the easiest way. And I just want to kind of like add an addendum to what Wendell was saying. So I think this is going to be a lot easier for newbies. Now, obviously, the easiest and the best way is to just install Arch because you're already going to get the newest stuff, or Manjaro or something like that. But yeah, this is how you do it right here. You go ahead and grab. This is actually on Ask Ubuntu. I answered this question somebody else was asking. You just sudo add apt repository ppa this capi-lichen or something like that ppa, and then you install the ppa. You get that application. It's called Mainline. So just hit the meta key and then type in Mainline, and after you do the install, it should pop up. And that's pretty much it. And then the card should be working without any problems. But yeah, you're definitely going to have to go into safe graphics mode if you're doing the installation because the card's really new. And that's one of the reasons why Ubuntu can kind of trip people up. Because things take so long to update. Not everything. I mean, they do have HWE, which is this hardware compatibility thing where they backport some essential updates, like for kernels and things like that. So I mean, there are things Ubuntu tries to do. I'm not trying to, bash on Ubuntu because I think Ubuntu is pretty solid all around. Usually works really good, but on this new kind of hardware is one of the places that it usually gets tripped up, especially with AMD stuff that's going to require newer kernel drivers because all the AMD stuff, the Intel stuff's usually baked into the kernel stuff. And on top of that, since I've been using the GPD Win, which has the the ZXE1 or whatever they're calling that newer graphics chip. It's not the newest one, but the second to the newest one. Even that one is going to do a whole lot better if it has updated Mesa, and AMD is the same way. So if you wanted to put the updated stuff in there, there's also updated Mesa PPAs that you can do, and that's going to make you have bleeding edge on Ubuntu. Or you can just install Arch, and then you're going to have all that stuff anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to make this quick short video about that. I didn't want to go into too much depth because Wendell is going to cover all the rest of the stuff. But just wanted to add this to it. Addendum to what Wendell said, to give you another option. I like to use graphical stuff. I don't want to mess around with anything. And somebody already did all the work making this program, and it is a programmable task. There's no gotchas in this. You're just downloading something that Ubuntu's already packaged up, so it works fine. There are some little gotchas with the new stuff. That's why it's not released yet. That's why Ubuntu's still testing. So you do keep that in mind. But I've been using these newest kernels for a really long time and have had zero problems. And most of my hardware is pretty new. I have, some newer 10th gen Intel. I have 11th gen Intel. I have some AM4 AMD stuff. X399, not super new, but even with my new GPUs, it works great. So new GPUs or NVIDIA 30 series, they obviously use their own driver. That's no problem. So I've used it with a bunch of different hardware. Works great. So I'm just going to end that video here, and you guys have a good one.